Today we are looking at a better method of moving the camera around the scene, your track camera around the scene. So it has occurred to me that I'm the only person on the planet that actually wants to move it around with the Oculus thumbstick. And because the Vive lacks a thumbstick in the first place, a lot of people are just reverting to an Xbox controller or WASD. And so the method I used in the usability tutorial is not actually the best way of using those things, because it was more of a hacky method. So we're going to have a look at how to do it. So we got sort of moving around, forward, back, left, right. We're going up and down. Although I'd stay away from doing this necessarily, especially if you're compositing live stuff, because what you're going to end up with is sort of the ground plane in real life and the ground plane in your virtual set not lining up. And we also have rotate, so if you want to spin your set around, without actually spinning the camera around, which is going to be good if you have a green screen, because obviously you can't spin it around, just like that. And so just like how I don't actually have my Oculus plugged in at the moment, but just like how the original move method works, this is moving around the volume that your track device is in, so the track device can still move and rotate inside that volume independently of this. So think of it like you're moving your scene around. Alrighty, so we're just in the my main tutorial file setup, I guess. This will work for both the blueprint camera and the non-blueprint camera. So I think we're using the non-blueprint camera today. So this is what we originally had, which was all these inputs, and then there's some math, and then relative locations. And so it'll be similar to this, but not quite the same. So what we're going to do is we're actually going to start by adding some input assignments. So that is project settings and then input. So they will be action axes mappings, these ones, not the other ones. So I'm just going to get rid of all of them, and we can start again. Alrighty. So we're going to want forward, right, and up. That's the one I was thinking of. And clockwise, like so. So in our axes mappings, we want, I'm going to use W. So we're going to add both, like the opposite as well. So S would be the opposite of, so W and S, forward and back. And in the scale of the opposite one, we're going to put a negative value. So these scale values are what you're going to use to adjust the speed of it. Right is going to be D, and A -1. We said up, it's going to be E. E makes more sense to be up, I think. And then Q's down. Again, being action mappings, set it to whatever it is you would like. You can also add controllers and everything like that. I find controllers are a bit easier because they're proportional, rather than, see, a keyboard can only be pressed or not pressed, but a controller can be like half pressed sort of thing. Alrighty, so here's our action mapping set up. So we're going to go back into our blueprint, and we're just going to delete all this, actually. Yeah, it's just easier if we delete it and start again. Like so. So we're going to call all our actions. So forward, right, input. Come on, I know it exists. There it is. Up. And clockwise. And I'm just going to even them out a bit because a bit OCD. Oh no, that won't go even. It's a shame. Alrighty, so off of these, we are going to just use the add relative location for all but one. Add relative location. And so in this project, we were using the arrow, I believe, as our, yep, arrow, that makes sense. Add a relative location. So I'm going to get 3 of those. And yep, just checking my notes. The last one we want is an add relative rotation. Relative rotation of the arrow. There. Arrow still. Alrighty, so it's going to be rather easy. So to get the we're going to use the arrow one more time. I'm going to use another one to make things neat. So we want the forward vector. Get forward vector. And so what this is going to do is get the, I guess, direction we are pointing forward in the scene. And so this is what allows us to, when we hit left and right or forward and backwards, it always goes relative to the camera rather than absolute. So we're just going to take this and we're going to times it. So we go on a float times a vector. A vector times a float. And we're just going to times it like that. And then that feeds into that. And so that's going to get, you know, and it's that simple, right? So, and then again, if you want to adjust the speed, then that's where you go back into the other one and do that in the input actions, axes. Alrighty. The other one we want is a get right vector. Get right vector, like so. And then exactly the same thing. So we're going to take this and we're going to times it by the vector, vector times float, and like that. Let's put that there. And that there. So, and then that's going to do exactly the same thing as this, except from the right side or the left side. So obviously we're going to get our forward vector. We're going to get how far you're pushing it forward. So in the case of keyboard, it's going to be 0 or 1. Times it by the direction we're pointing forward, and that's going to be our new location. Same as when we hit S, because we set it to -1, it's going to do, you know, that times -1, which is going to be back. Then right, +1, left, back. Yep. Easy. The last ones we want to do is the up and down. This is rather simple, as we're just going to go make vector like that, and then break that and plug it into that. Because our camera doesn't rotate, we always want it to go up or down, no matter which way it's actually, like the track camera is actually facing. And so that is really easy. And then the make rotator is also rather easy, because we always want it to spin around in a circle. Or the same circle, I should say. We don't want it tilting Dutch angles or anything like that. Make rotator, there we go. And this is going to be in the Z axis, because we want, yeah, Z is upwards and we want it to spin around on the up direction. And so it's just like that. And so we compile and save it, and just like that, that is going to, I'll put a nice little box around it. There we go. Movement without an N. Oh no, there we go. Movement, there we go. And so just like that, that is going to allow it. So if I hit play and test it, I can now go up, down. My Oculus isn't plugged in, so I'm not actually going to get the camera tracking. I can spin it around, can go left and, oh, hello. Alrighty, left and right and back and forward are wrong. Lovely. But they are relative. I got them back to front. Project settings, input. Did I? W, maybe, okay. Let's try that. Oh, that's better. Okay, I don't know why that was the case. So you can use this without the track camera if you want, really, to get a to you know, make your own camera, I guess, without the track part. As funny as that is, just for some more cinematic moves, I guess. Other than that, yeah, that nice and quick one, and so it's done.